I'm going to pop us on mute and then we will get started. We're going to start in a seated position. So similar to the last couple of weeks, actually, we've been starting seated quite a bit lately. But as always, any kind of comfortable position for you. So if you want to grab anything to make this a bit cozy, I've got big socks on today. If you want a cushion, a blanket, so just pop yourself up then, please be my guest. But doing whatever we need to do to really settle and arrive. So you might find it helpful to lower the gaze or close the eyes very gently, just so we can start to settle. So settling the body, allowing the legs and the limbs to drop heavy, and starting to settle the mind as well. And that can be quite tricky, can be quite difficult, especially if we come from very busy days or very active days, if we've been in a bit of a rush to get here. So just noticing to start, so noticing where the mind is, noticing where our attention is. So we've done the hard part, we've shown up, we've turned up, we put yoga to the top of the to-do list and made it a priority. So let's really try and be present for the next hour or so, staying really focused with what the mind needs, what the body needs. And we'll start just by bringing our attention to the breath. Just noticing where your breath is. Feeling where the breath is in the body, so whether it's in the belly, whether it's further up in our chest, and there's no right or wrong, we're just noticing, acknowledging, not trying to control it. And as we use the breath as the anchor, seeing what else comes to mind, what's trying to steal our attention. And that's okay if it does do that. That's, we're all human. But every time that happens, we'll just see if we can bring that attention back to the breath. Maybe starting to invite in a lovely, slow, steady whispering inhale in through the nose. Pausing for a moment at the top and then releasing and lengthening our nice conscious exhale. As we do, dropping the shoulders, releasing any tension in the legs, so letting them fall nice and heavy. Maybe getting a sensation or an image of lifting the heart up to the sky and seeing if that almost lengthens the position that we're sat in, lengthens the spine. So as we keep the breath going, our nice steady breath, seeing if we can really elongate the inhale and the exhale. Noticing this moment of arriving on our mats this evening, and arriving hopefully back into ourselves, into our body, into our minds. So as you know, we were looking at Asteya last week, so our third yama, so the principle of not stealing, and we want to be really conscious of that this evening to make sure that we continue to be present, to make the most of any opportunities for joyful movement, for moments of rest, for moments to really draw inwards, and making sure that we're not always kind of going for the most advanced option of the pose just because we feel we should. Choosing the option that's right for our bodies, caring for our bodies and our minds this evening. Repeating to ourselves that you are enough, you do enough, you have enough. You are enough, you do enough, you have enough. So when you're ready, you might start to gently bat the eyelids open. Bringing our awareness, our attention back into the room. And we'll start to move with the breath. So really using the breath to power our limbs. So we're just going to start by inhaling, bringing the arms up to shoulders, reaching those fingertips nice and wide, opening through the chest. As we exhale, spreading the fingertips, bringing the palms to our chest, to our center. Great, guys. Then we'll inhale, drop the chin. Take those palms behind the neck and then reach them all the way up to the sky. So really reaching out of the side body all the way to the top before we rain those fingertips down, maybe giving them a little wiggle on the way. And then we'll spread the fingertips, drawing that energy back to our center, back to our heart space. And we'll keep that little rhythm going. You can look at the screen if you need to, if you want to copy, but I think you're all pretty familiar with this one. So maybe just closing the eyes and going at a pace that feels right for you, that works with the rhythm of your breath. Really feeling into our center, into our core, our heart space. And as we do bring those thumbs kind of in front of the chest, really getting that sensation of lifting our heart to our thumbs, the sternum to thumb connection, so that we're making the most of the movement. And then next time your fingertips come down, we'll bring our hands to our knees. We're going to do some nice gentle neck stretches. So we're going to tilt our left ear over towards the left shoulder. So getting a bit of a stretch, bit of an opening in the right hand side. And if this feels good, we can stay here. Or it might feel nice to pop that left hand, just gently placing it on the top of the head, just to apply a little bit of pressure. We don't want to be kind of yanking, forcing it down. Sometimes that extra added weight can feel nice and supportive and just help really get into that stretch. Another thing we can do is take our right hand out to the side, flexing the fingertips up towards the wrist. Again, that can help just get a little nice stretch along that arm, along that side of the neck. But if that doesn't add anything nice for you, then we can pop the hand down. So the nice thing about yoga, we can play around, we can try things. If they feel good for us, great, do them. If we don't really notice them, or not adding any value, then we can skip them. So bring both fingertips down, bringing the head up to center, and then we'll take it over to the other side. So dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. And then again, trying with the hands, playing around, finding what feels good, what's going to let you get a little bit of a neck stretch. Remembering to keep breathing. Holding it here, nice and gentle. And then when you're ready, we'll release the neck, bringing the head back to center. Sometimes it can be nice just to kind of drop the nose, take it back up to the sky again. Maybe taking the nose side to side just once. Great. From here, we're going to lift the fingertips all the way up. So we're reaching out the side body again, maybe giving the hands, the wrists a little roll. We'll inhale in, sitting up nice and tall. As we exhale, we're going to twist from the rib cage over towards the left-hand side and then bring those hands down. So we can either cross that front hand over to our left knee, or we can keep it nice and open. Taking the gaze behind us. Breathing into the belly. Seeing if you can really deepen the inhale and the exhale here. And then we'll bring those fingertips back to center, bringing them up and overhead. Reaching up and out of our legs before we take it over to the other side. Again, we can keep it open, or we can close our hand across. Taking the gaze over the back shoulder. Nice, guys. So staying nice and tall in the spine, which you're all doing. And then coming back to center. Great. So we're going to play a little bit with our Janu Sirsasana, so one of our forward folds. We don't need to fold all the way over, so Lizzie will keep yours a little bit more upright. But if you've got a strap, that can be quite helpful. So I know we played around with this a bit last week. So yeah, whether it's a strap, a dressing gown, cord, look like you'll grab something. So we'll start in our Dandasana, our staff pose. So just getting really comfy on the mat, finding our sitting bones. We've got a really good connection with the earth. And then we're keeping the feet nice and active. So we want our toes facing up, our heels pointing out. If we can comfortably have our legs flat on the earth, then great. But if you want a little bit of a bend in the knee, you can't see very well in my leggings, but that's absolutely fine. We can keep that bend in the knee if that allows us to keep the nice straight back. So taking a couple breaths here, just so we can really kind of feel into the position, feel that length in the spine, that strength in the back body. So the back of the legs and the back. And then when you're ready, we're gonna fold in the left foot. So bringing the left foot into the right thigh. And then we're gonna take our strap, place it around the ball of the foot before we come into our fold. So Shalya Sushasana, so it's head to knee pose. So we're kind of having that intention of taking our head towards our knee or our nose towards our knee. We don't need to kind of fold over like a pancake. You just want to get to that nice kind of sweet spot where you're getting a nice stretch in the hamstring and your back is feeling nice and strong. So holding onto your strap wherever's comfortable, we'll inhale in as we do, sitting up nice and tall. And then as we exhale, we'll send our heart towards our shin, bringing our nose towards the toes. And then as we do so, we can walk the hands up the strap till we get a nice stretch in the hamstrings. And that might be, we might be folding all the way over. We might be keeping it pretty upright. It might look very similar to our Bandhasana. And that's fine. And once you're in position, as it were, you might want to fold the head over, fold the neck over, or we can keep it nice and tall, nice and active, nice and bright. This is really nice for kind of stimulating our internal organs, our digestion, as well as lengthening through the back body. Just taking a couple breaths here. Now when you're ready, you can gently start to release through the strap, creating a little bit more slack. Great, then we're going to take that strap off. We're going to head over to the other side, but if you want to kind of drop the knees side to side, or maybe just give the legs a little shake, if there's anything your body is asking you for, any kind of natural movements, we can do that. And then we're going to set up on the other side. So again, same intention as sitting up nice and tall, sitting bones are nice and firm into the ground. And then we'll bring our right foot in this time. Bringing it just to a comfortable position on your thigh. And then again, we're going to use the strap, but it's important to note that the strap isn't just to kind of pull us down. The strap is just to help us kind of lengthen through the limbs and kind of find that length, that strength in the back body. So wrapping it around, inhaling, sitting up nice and tall, and then as we exhale, really hinging from the hips and bringing our waist, our chest towards the legs, and then walking the hands up the strap to find that stretch. And again, we might be down with our nose at our knee, we might be sat up tall. As soon as you start to kind of feel that stretch in the hamstrings, then that might be enough for you. So that can be all the way up here. Breathing into the body. And noticing and acknowledging how the body feels here. So, we didn't do a lot of kind of gentle mobilizing movements today, not as many as we often do. So taking this opportunity to notice how the body's feeling. Is there anything playing up, any niggles, anything we want to take care of? You all look great, guys. And when you're ready, we'll release through that strap. So walking the hands back up. We'll take the strap off the foot, and then we're going to head over into our cat-cow, so our tabletop. So again, if there's anything you want to do here, whether it's shaking the legs out a little bit, taking the knees side to side, even giving yourself a nice little hug, just to counteract some of the tension that we've built. And then we'll take our ankles over, coming up into our nice tabletop position. So I know you guys are pretty familiar with tabletop and we know where we're going, but just checking that our knees are below our hips, wrists below the shoulders, and grabbing any padding for the wrists or for the knees if we'd like to. And that can just be kind of folding the mat over to give ourselves a bit more padding. And we're going to move through our cat-cow, so pushing away from the mat, so elbow creases showing forward, fingers are spread nice and wide. We'll inhale in, start to drop the belly, take our chin, our chest up towards the sky, gaze up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, pushing through that movement, so reversing the movement, pushing into the shoulder blades. Again, remembering to keep pushing through the mat, connecting to our center, to our core. Maybe squeezing the glutes ever so slightly when we get to the top, just to really engage the body, making it a full body experience. And again, using this opportunity, cat-cow is another one. I know I've said it before, where it can be a good checking in point, because we do it quite frequently in our practice. It's very clear when it starts to feel different. Adding on any little extras here, so if you want to dip your hips from side to side, or taking the hips in some nice circles or figure of 8, really arriving in your version of cat-cow. Finding the option that belongs to you here. Lovely, you're looking really nice, guys. Look very comfortable. So we're going to move into our half side plank from here. So coming back to tabletop when we're ready, so nice flat neutral spine. And then when you're ready, you're going to send your left foot to the back of the mat, so placing it gently behind you, reaching out. Great, Lizzie. Lovely. And then taking some gentle rocks on the ball of that foot. So we're going to start by stretching through the calf, through the back of the leg. Remembering to keep breathing. And then when we're ready, we're going to bring that into our version of side plank. So we're going to drop that heel so this extended leg is flat on the floor. And then when you're ready, we'll pivot that knee out 90 degrees. So we make ourselves a little kickstand coming off the long edge of our mat. And then we're going to push through the wrists, through the hands, and then start to reach up with that top arm. If that's feeling a lot on your shoulders, then you can bring the arm down if that's comfortable and try it on an elbow. That's normally, if you've got dodgy wrists, that can be good, but if you've got any pain in the shoulder, then it might be worth giving that a go. With the top arm, you could always keep that on your hip as well if it's the other shoulder playing up. So reaching through all 4 corners of the body, so reaching at the top fingertips, pushing away from the mat, pushing down through the foot, so we're really finding some nice length from the tip of the head to the bottom of your foot. If this feels good, then stay exactly where you are. If you want a little bit extra, then we can start to push out through that extended leg. So we're going to lift that extended leg up so it's in line with our torso, in line with our head, and really push through that foot as if there's an imaginary wall. So we're keeping that leg nice and active. Really feeling into the stretch. It'll look really strong, guys. And then when you're ready, we'll bring that foot back down. And then pushing into that foot nice and strong in the arms, we're going to bring both arms up. So our left arm is coming over that left foot, opening through the chest, coming into our gate pose. Fab. So we're in our, similar to kind of a warrior 2 shape. Reaching through the arms, opening through the chest, nice heart opener, maybe inviting lots of energy in with the hands, radiating out from the pose. Great. Looking good, guys. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring our top body over that extended leg. So you might need to turn those toes out ever so slightly. We'll bring our palms down to support us and then swing that knee back behind us so we're parallel again. And this should bring you roughly into your half split shape. So we're stretching through that leg, fingertips are on the earth. You might have kind of slight spider fingers here, so fingers are nice and tall. And then almost thinking of that kind of cow position with the spine. So similar to when we're in cat-cow, that's the shape we're aiming for here. So the hips are nice and elevated. Belly is coming towards the thigh, chest is shining forward. Taking a couple deep, juicy breaths here. And then when you're ready, we'll use our fingertips to walk ourselves forward, start bending into that knee, opening through the back hip, so nice and gentle. We can stay low to the ground for now, so we're not kind of coming into our Anjali-asana quite yet. We're gently opening that hip. And if we can hold it here, kind of getting that opening, getting that stretch, then wonderful. But if we want to kind of take some little pulses, ease ourselves into it, looking after the joint and the legs, that's good too. Looking good, guys. And then when you're ready, we'll bring that pelvis back up, so nice and strong in the pelvis. And then we're going to bring that leg back behind us. And we're going to take that on the other side, so work through that side plank again. Bear in mind that you might now be facing the opposite way, so you might want to turn back to your original way, or you can stay here, but just make sure we're doing the opposite side. So from here, we will take the right foot back this time. Start stretching through that calf, so gently rolling onto the foot. So again, you know how far is good for you, you know what feels best for you. And then we're going to transition nice and slowly, nice and gently into our half side plank. So dropping that back foot, pushing into the earth. And then we'll swing that opposite leg round, so a little pivot, and then reaching up towards the sky. So hopefully getting a nice stretch all the way from our ankle, all the way through our side body up to the head. Lots of energy in that top hand. Really feeling kind of the whole body supporting itself. And again, if we want it slightly better on the shoulders, we can bring that top hand to our hip and we can bring ourselves onto our elbow. Keeping it nice and light, nice and open. Keeping the breath going. And then imagining that I'm holding you from those top fingertips. We're going to pull our chest, our arms over into our gate position, so bringing ourselves upright, allowing some of the blood to drain from the head, resettle, recalibrate as it were. Nice breath here, nice strong warrior arms. And then we're going to bring our fingertips down again to help us walk towards our half splits on the other side. So we'll take that foot that we pivoted, start swinging that back out, lifting those toes and then using our fingertips to walk over into our half splits. Or coming there, whatever way works and feels comfortable for you. I don't think I explained that very well, but great. So we're straightening, extending through that front leg. We're bringing ourselves over, finding that cow shape again. So we're dropping the belly, sending the chest, the heart space forward, taking the gaze ahead of you. Breathing into the hamstrings, into the back of the leg. And then when you're ready, we're going to rock onto that front knee. So maybe using the fingers to walk ourselves forward, bending through that knee. I've gotten very close to my cupboard, so I'm going to move myself back. And then getting that opening in the back hip. So again, we can hold it here if we want that nice deep release, that stress. Stress release, I should have said, not stress. That doesn't make it sound very enjoyable. But we can kind of pulse, take these baby pulses into it just to ease ourselves in. So it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Finding the stretch here, moving into the pose. Great, and when you're ready, we're going to make our way up to standing. To do so, we're going to plant our fingertips, so plant the hands wrapping around that front foot. We're going to tuck the back toes, lift that back knee, and then as slowly as we can, I'm going to use the word float, and don't worry if you don't feel very floaty when we do it, but nice and slow, we're going to lift that back foot up to meet the front. We can take it nice and wide, so Lizzie, you might want to keep yours quite wide. Coming into our forward fold. So we've done lots of work on the hamstrings, so hopefully they're feeling all right here. But we're keeping our weight nice and evenly distributed between the front and the back body. Elevating the hips up to the sky, keeping a nice generous bend in the knees if that feels better. Folding over here. And then when you're ready in your own time, nice and slowly, we'll start to roll our way back up. Great, guys, feeling into each of the vertebrae. And when we get to the top, we're going to roll the shoulders down the back, drawing the shoulder blades together, sending the palms in front, closing the eyes here for a moment. Great, so inviting in some nice energy, feeling into the feet, getting nice and centered and secure on the mat. And we're going to work through a sun salutation just to warm up. So, as I said, starting to push through the feet so we activate and energize the legs. I'm just taking my socks off. So pelvis shines forward, arms shining forward, head over heart, heart over pelvis. Nice and strong. And then soft bend in the knees. So we'll take this all nice and slow, nice and gentle. We'll inhale, lifting the arms up towards the sky. Big stretch at the top, exhale, coming into that forward fold again. Hips shine forward, swan diving the arms down. Okay, inhale, finding your halfway lift, so pushing through the feet, straightening through the back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we will step or jump back to our plank. Lizzie, we will just take a step when your dog allows you to. And then we'll spread the fingertips nice and wide, so really pushing into the body, feeling nice and strong, nice and active. Dipping the hips, sucking the belly button up to the sky. I feel a bit mean doing this because this is not a sun salutation when I make you hold it, but it's nice to feel that bit of fire in your belly, knowing we're alive, we're safe, we're well. And then when we're ready, we're going to come to our tabletop or to our cobra. So you can come through chaturanga. We can drop the knees, lower ourselves down. Might want to come through knees, chin, chest. But then pushing up into our cobra or into our tabletop position. Wherever we are, shining the chest forward, grounding down through our limbs, so through the hands and the feet, so real connection to the earth. And then when you're ready, we'll tuck the toes under with an exhale, send the hips up and back to our downward dog, maybe walking the feet in just to find that comfortable gaze, checking in here, so spreading the fingertips, dropping our belly to our knees, wrapping the arms around so the shoulders are nice and strong. Maybe we pedal through the feet just for a few moments till we can find some stillness here. Noticing the breath. Where is the breath currently? Finding yourself in your downward dog, checking in with your body, checking in with your mind. And then when you're ready, we're going to step, jump, or hop to the top of your mat, back to our forward fold, and then nice and slowly roll our way back towards standing. As always, rolling the shoulders down when we get there, really to emphasize we're arriving. We're in Tadasana, our mountain pose, we're taking up space, we're standing up tall, catching your breath here. So we're going to work for a couple of standing poses. If anybody wants to grab a quick drink, take any socks off, anything like that, might be a good time to do it. I've certainly warmed up since we started. I've been so cold all day and now I've definitely warmed up. So I'm like, why didn't I do some yoga earlier? So coming back to our standing pose, We're really focusing, I guess, on the back of the body today. So strengthening through the spine, through the legs. So we're going to find our strong Tadasana because we want to find that connection with our feet with the earth. And we're going to move towards our warrior three. So coming from standing. So you might know, because we've done this pose quite a few times, where works better for you with your hands. But wherever we're going, we really want to feel that opposition to the earth. So we're going to be pushing away. So we might want to keep our hands on our hips. We might use the hands to kind of push away from the earth. But wherever we are, we're standing up nice and tall, engaging with the center. And then keeping one nice long line from the tip of the head to the back of the heel. We'll start to send our chest forward. And if we start to lose that balance, then maybe we come up a bit more upright. Maybe we use a wall or a chair. And you can play around with it as you go. So maybe as we tilt further, we decide that we want the arms to be behind us, aeroplane arms. Maybe that helps find that lift. Maybe we want to push away from the earth. Maybe we're feeling super balanced, super strong today, and we're going to take those arms out in front of us. But wherever we are, we want to engage with that back thigh, so that back thigh is nice and active. It's not getting a bit lazy and falling. We want to push through our standing legs, so pushing through the toe. All look really strong, guys. Nice, and then when we're ready, wherever we are, we're going to drop that back foot all the way back to come into our high lunge. Great, and making sure if we fell and our feet ended up on a tightrope, then we'll take them a little bit wider. And then we'll start to bend into that front knee. Resting on kind of the ball of the foot, so we're pushing away through that back heel, but it might not be flat on the earth. Sinking into the pelvis here, so nice strong legs. You all look really good, guys. Nice connection to the pelvis. Strong pelvis, and then we're going to take the arms up and overhead, rolling our shoulders back as if we're holding a big beach ball overhead. Nice, guys. So feeling into the breath. Feeling into the movement. It can be very easy, especially when we come to these poses where we're maybe working for a sequence or we know that we're often going to go somewhere else, to kind of tick them off as a bit of a checklist, but really being present in the pose, noticing how it feels. How do the joints feel? How do the muscles feel? How is our breath? What are we thinking about? What emotions is it bringing up? So always learning, always being curious. And then when you're ready, using our breath, using the inhale, we're going to drop the back heel, so sending the toes off to a 45-degree angle. And then we'll open out through our nice, strong arms. I'm going to turn around so I can face you, coming to our warrior two, which you are all in. Nice. So again, keep that knee nice and stacked. So we don't want that knee falling in. We want it over that ankle. Reaching for our fierce arms, gaze over your middle finger. Starting up nice and tall. So similar to when we're seated, legs are sinking down. Everything from the pelvis is nice and light and raising up. From here, we'll inhale, we'll turn that front palm over to face the earth, face the sky, sorry. Exhale, bring those palms back, bring that back arm to meet the back leg, find your peaceful warrior. Reaching up and through the fingertips. Should still feel pretty strong in that front thigh. Fab, guys. You all are really very peaceful. And then when you're ready, we'll bring those arms back to our warrior two. We'll straighten through that front leg, bring the hands to the hips, and then we're going to take that over to the other side. So we can go straight to the other side, or if you want to jump the legs together, give them a shake off, grab a drink, all that kind of stuff we can. But if not, from this wide-legged position, we're just going to swap the feet over. So we'll turn our toes out on the opposite side, bending into that front knee. And then we'll need to adjust the back foot just slightly to come into our warrior one. Which reminds me, as we get here, I've missed out a warrior three on this side. I'm really sorry, but that's fine. We're going to stay in this warrior one. This will teach us what we were talking about earlier. It doesn't matter where we've been. We're just going to be super present in this warrior one. And then I'll get us back to our warrior three. So reaching up through the hands, again, big beach ball overhead. Dropping through that back heel, so back leg is nice and strong. Reaching through the side body. So from here, we are going to come into our warrior three. So maybe you want to do it from where we are, from this high lunge. So we can bring the hands to the hip, find a little bit of energy, a bit of bounce in that back leg, and then using the breath, almost kick that leg back, pushing through the back foot. Or if that doesn't work for us, then we just come to standing and we can come in exactly the same way we did from our mountain pose, so connecting to the feet. Lifting nice and slowly, nice and steady, almost like a seesaw, I guess, bringing the chest down as the foot comes up. Amazing, Lizzie, look really good. Nice and strong in the back of the legs. Fab, guys, playing with it. How you're managing to do that with pets running around you, I'll never know. And then when you're ready on that side, we'll drop that back foot back to our high lunge, where we have already been now. So we'll open that into our warrior two. So dropping the back heel, taking those arms. Sorry, I do not know where my mind is at today. Bending into that front knee. Head is still over heart, heart over pelvis. Chest is open. Finding our nice, fierce warrior two. I think I like this one just because you get to take out lots of space, as we rightfully should. Really radiating out of the pose, feeling into the pose, finding yourself in our warrior two. And then nice, slow transition to our peaceful warrior. So turning that front palm up to face the sky, tilting those arms all the way back, reaching up with that top arm as we walk our fingertips down the back leg. Fab, nice and strong in the legs. And then when you're ready, we're going to cartwheel those arms all the way around. So we're coming to wrap the arms around that front foot. We'll need to tilt the back foot slightly. And then we're going to drop that back knee, bring that front knee to meet the back. And then we're going to come into our child's pose. So we can take the knees nice and wide, dropping our hips back, walking the arms forward for our extended child's pose. Maybe we bring the palms up and head for our little sharp fin child's pose. And we always have the option, I think, sometimes we come into child's pose in these flows, but we've always got time if you ever want to come onto your back instead and hug your knees into your chest. Sometimes child's pose can feel a bit restricted, or if you've got anything going on in the knees or the ankles, we can always take this option as well. So finding our rest here, resting to replenish your energy and to find a little bit of quiet as you tune back in with the breath. Returning to our truth that we were repeating at the beginning and that our practice shows us again and again. Our truth being that you are enough. There's nothing that you need to do to be enough. There's nothing that you need to take or to have. You were already complete before your yoga practice, before the rest, and you'll be complete again after. So there's no pose we need to force ourselves into or make work. So taking the rest, checking in with the breath. And then we've got a couple final hip openers before we come to work on a few more folds. And then we'll be heading down to our relaxation. So where you are, walking yourselves back up to kneeling. Great. And then you're going to move into your downward dog, so from your tabletop. So setting up nice and strong in the hands and the fingers, spreading the fingertips, wrapping those shoulders, those arms around. Tuck the toes under, send the hips back to the ankles and then up towards the sky, growing into your nice downward dog. Looking good, guys. So nice straight spines, belly drops towards the thighs. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale, we're going to lift through the right heel. So we're sending our right heel back to our three-legged dog. Pelvis is nice and stacked. And then we'll bend through the knee. Start to push through the mat. We're going to start to bring that knee up to the front of the mat. So we're pushing away into our shoulder blades. And then we'll drop that foot back between the two front hands. Great. Pushing into the earth. We'll drop the back knee. Nice and light on your fingertips. We're going to bring our chest, bring our arms up to our Anjali Asana. Pulsing into that hip opener again. So we can hold it here. Or if it's more comfortable, we'll take the baby pulses to find our crescent moon pose. Lifting your chest to your chin up to the sky. Feeling the breath in the belly. And then we're going to wiggle the fingertips around. We'll start by wrapping them around the front foot. Then we're actually going to walk that front foot, so walk that right foot out towards the side of your mat. And we're going to bring the arms in. So apologies, I know it's not super clear on the camera, but I've got my right foot at the edge of the mat, and then both of my hands are kind of in the center, supporting my weight, holding me up here, coming into your lizard pose. So again, we can use those baby pulses. If that feels more comfortable, we can just practice kind of rocking ourselves back and forwards here. We've always got the options of using our bricks as well. So if that feels quite a lot on the hip, then use your blocks or books or something just to bring your front body a little bit further up, and it will just take some of the pressure, some of the tension out of the hip joint. So breathing into our lizard here. So we've got a few options depending how open your hips are feeling, depending on our energy levels. So we can hold it here for a few breaths. We're going to be here about 10 breaths or so. We could tuck the toes under, lift the knee to bring a slightly stronger version of it, to get a bit more of a stretch, a contraction in that back leg. We can keep the knee lowered, but bring our elbows down to the floor. That feels good, kind of settle in. You might find in doing that your knee comes out slightly, and that's okay as long as that feels all right for you. Finding somewhere to settle. You can even take a combination of those two things. You could lift that back knee. Pushing away from the earth with your forearms. You still want your arms to be nice and strong to help that hip that's doing all the work. Just going to come and check on you guys. Great. So yeah, using any props, using anything that's going to be helpful. Seeing what it feels like to kind of slow down in this movement. So there's quite a lot going on. And, using what we can to support us, and not trying to, almost steal from ourselves by forcing ourselves into an option that we think is good for us or think is more advanced. And you're ready, nice and slowly. If the back knee is raised, then we'll pop that back on the earth. And then we're going to come back through to our downward dog. So it might be that you want to push straight back from your lizard, or you might want to walk that knee back in towards the center. And then lift the back leg, sending that front leg back to your downward dog. Great, we're going to take 3 breaths here. So if you'd rather come down to your child's pose for a moment, we've got that option as well. But we can check back in with a breath in our downward dog. So settling, recentering here. Checking in with the breath, in with the body, in with that hip joint. Well done, guys. There's a lot of work going on. You looked like you were comfortable. So if you weren't, then we can definitely work on that one and do more, but you all looked like you were feeling into the hip. So this time we're going to inhale, we'll send that left heel up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Pelvis is nice and strong, facing the earth. And then we'll exhale, bending through the knee. We're going to bring it all the way up, nice and strong, connecting to our core, to our center. And then we'll drop that foot back down in front. Fab. From here, we're going to drop that back knee. Inhale, nice and light on the fingertips. Bring ourselves up to our Anjali Asana. Reaching up and out the fingertips, big beach ball overhead. Chest to your chin, chin to the sky. Pushing out of that front foot, the foot that's in contact with the earth, really pushing through. So we've got strength in the glutes and the hips. And then we'll exhale, wiggle those fingertips back down. And we're gonna work towards our lizard again. So starting to walk the left foot out towards the left side of the mat this time. Bringing our hands to the earth or to our blocks or to our bricks. Taking a moment to spread through the fingertips, especially the thumb and the index finger. Really pushing away out of the mat. And then finding your eagle on this side. So we might want to play around with the knee. We might be picking the knee up. We might be lowering it. We might be bringing our elbows down towards the earth. Might be doing a combination. But feeling into the hips, see what comes up. Maybe closing the eyes for a few moments. Looking good, guys. So finding some stillness here. We're definitely not finding rest because there's a lot going on, but arriving in the pose so we can kind of find ourselves, find some stillness. I'm reading a book about trauma at the moment, and there's a lot of kind of science and stuff on kind of where trauma is stored in the body. And anecdotally, I think a lot of people do find that there's a lot kind of, these hip openers can unleash a lot, they can release certain emotions. If that all sounds a bit woo-woo for you, then that's fine, just pretend I'm not talking. But see what happens for you, play around, explore. And then when you're ready, wherever you are, we'll come back so that our hands are pushing out the earth, knee is gently behind us. And then we'll bring those hips back over the knees, so coming back more to our tabletop. And then we'll bring that front foot around back to our tabletop position. Great, guys. And take whatever movement you want to take here to release in the hips. So might be dipping the hips side to side, might want to take some nice circles all the way around. We've got a lot of range of motion in the hips, so we want to make sure that we're kind of strengthening as well as stretching and opening. So finding what feels good here. And then when you're ready, we're going to walk the knees forward, cross the ankles behind us, and come over into our seated position. Excuse me, I'm just going to grab a drink a moment. So from seated, we're going to have one little core exercise before a couple folds, and then we're coming into our Shavasana. So we're going to bring the knees together, feet stood nicely next to each other, knees up towards the sky. Nice connection with the sitting bones to the earth again. And using our fingertips at the side to support us, we'll start to lift through the spine, so sitting up nice and tall, gently engaging the torso, the core muscles. You might feel them start to kick in already. And then we're going to come towards our boat pose on Navasana. So we can stay here. We may take the tiptoes to the floor. We may lift one and then the other. Or you may want to bring both shins up towards the sky maybe taking the arms out parallel, maybe wrapping them around the legs. So we've got lots of options here. All of them are going to help you connect to your center. So it really doesn't matter which one you go for. Just find where your energy is at today. Breathing into it, feeling that little bit of fire in your belly, that energy. We're really bringing the hips together. So we just spent a lot of time opening the hips, but wherever we are, having that sensation of bringing everything into the midline, nice and strong. We're here for 3, 2, 1. We'll cross the ankles. Coming back to seated, releasing through the core, through the center. Fab. So from here, we're going to take the legs nice and wide this time. So we are taking them for our final little hip opener. So taking them as wide as is comfortable. It doesn't have to be super wide, but we're going to play around with our wide-legged forward fold again. So Upavishta Konasana. But before we fold, I want us to play around with the kind of lengthening we were doing last week. So we're going to take our fingertips either in front of us or behind us. In fact, we're going to take them behind us. I think it'll be easier for all of us to do that. So taking our toes nice and active towards the sky, fingertips behind us, really pushing out of the earth. Inhaling in nice and tall. As we exhale, we're going to bring the chest towards the earth. So we're starting to fold over, but we're going to keep our hands behind us on the floor. So we're not coming all the way. We're going to keep pushing the hands behind, using that kind of pushing sensation to lengthen through the spine as the chest comes forward. So we're really strong in the legs. You're probably feeling your inside of your legs or the hamstrings, maybe the calves speaking to you. But nice and tall in the spine. We kind of want to remember that length and strength when we come over into the fold in a minute. So soft gaze. You could even close the eyes here if that's helpful for you. If not, we'll take the gaze just in front. So we're always kind of looking ahead. And then we can stay here. If this is helping us, we're finding that strength and length in the legs and in the back. We're getting that focus, that clarity from looking ahead, then we can stay here. If not, we'll bring the hands in front of us, and you might want to start walking yourself towards your forward fold. But again, keeping that sensation of hinging from the hips. So we're not just kind of folding ourselves over through the spine. We're using the hips to come forward, using our hands to support us, just like we did in eagle. Finding a comfortable place for your hands. They might be in front of you. You might take them towards the legs. But keeping that length in the spine. Chest shines forward. Breathing into the belly. And again, taking our time with it. So we're not trying to just cram lots in. We're not thinking, oh, we've got an hour for yoga. Let's cram as much in as we can. We want to feel into each of these as deeply and as fully as possible. Appreciate the bits we like, learn what we don't like. Remembering that more doesn't mean better. We want to try and do less. So holding it here, we're going to hold it for 3 more breaths. So if we want to walk up to feel a bit more comfortable to do that, we can. Well done, guys. And when you're ready, we'll gently walk ourselves back up. We'll use our hands to lift our knees, bring them back in together, maybe giving them a little bit of a hug. And then we'll take the fingertips back behind us. This time we're just going to drop the knees from side to side. So finding a little bit of internal rotation after our wide-legged folds. So gently dipping. And we are going to come down towards lying down. We're going to do a couple little stretches before Shavasana, but if you want to have your socks or blankets or anything nearby, we'll be going there next. So when you're ready, coming to bring the shoulders, the back body down towards the earth. We'll start by hugging the knees in towards the chest, So we can keep that nice and wide if we want to, or we can bring them over the chest. Gently as we inhale, allowing a little bit of space in the belly. As we exhale, squeezing them in just for a moment. And then we'll interlace the fingers, wrap them around the left knee, send the right heel out nice and long. Squeezing the left knee into the chest, kind of closing the gap, the space we made in that hip. Swapping those legs over. Foot that's extended stays nice and active, so we keep pushing through that heel. Then taking any final movement you want to take here before we find stillness. So again, whatever that means for you, maybe that's more of those asanas, our wing relieving pose, maybe that's a happy baby. Maybe we're going to push into our forearms, lifting the hips up towards the sky, pushing through the feet for our bridge. Or maybe we're heading straight to Shavasana, maybe that's where we are now, and that is all good. So wherever we are, enjoying our last final movements, and then we'll send the limbs out nice and long. Lovely, Lizzie, lovely bridge. Fab, and then when we're ready, dropping the limbs nice and heavy into the earth. If we need to take any, like some nice stretch overhead, so do that, and then we'll drop the limbs down. Maybe grabbing a blanket or a pillow for the head. Resting here, not only just to replenish our energy, but to integrate our physical practice with the emotional practice this evening and the work we've done on the breath, letting it all mix and mingle and settle in our practice. So limbs are nice and heavy on the earth. Maybe bringing your attention, your awareness to any parts of the body that are in contact with the earth. So notice how the body feels on the mat. How the mat feels below you. Being held by your mat, held by the earth. Using this quiet place to return to the breath. So maybe as you inhale, you feel the belly rise. Exhaling, feeling the belly fall. Noticing how the belly feels in the rib cage. So maybe as you inhale, you feel your rib cage gently push you out of the back of your mat, lifting you away from the earth, expanding and growing and taking up space. Followed by the exhale as your ribs drop back into place, bringing you back to you. We're not forcing the breath, we're letting the body do what comes naturally. Noticing how the breath feels in the collarbone and the chest. Again, noticing as the body grows, as it expands, as it lifts. Using each exhale to release that tension, letting everything fall back into the mat. Using your breath as the anchor here. Reminding ourselves that we are complete. We have everything you need. And there's nothing to take because you've arrived in completeness and you are complete right now. Not stealing satisfaction from yourself by comparing to yourself maybe to other people or to what you think you should be, for grasping for the the next thing, always grasping for something else that we would like. Feeling into our completeness here. Arriving in our Shavasana knowing that we are enough, we do enough, we have enough. We are enough, we do enough, we have enough. Noticing where the mind has gone here. So maybe the mind is still on our breath or still on our body. More likely it's gone elsewhere, and that's fine, that's all good. But we're going to bring the breath back, bring the attention back to our breath now, back to our body. And make a choice here, make a choice to stay in this relaxation, stay in our Shavasana. Or maybe we'll start to bring a little bit of movement back into the body. Preparing to come up to seated. So nice slow movements to start, maybe taking some nice stretches overhead. Rolling through the wrists, through the ankles. Hugging the knees into the chest. Doing whatever you need to do in your body. So full disclosure, I have run over a few minutes. It's about 4 minutes past 8. So if anybody needs to dash off and you've not noticed the time, then please do so. If not, we can end our practice together in seated. So coming up as soon as we're ready, any comfortable position, but maybe bringing the hands to our heart space, just so we can have this final moment of connection with ourselves. So feeling that skin to skin contact. Bringing everything in, drawing inwards here, maybe tucking the chin to get a last little stretch in the back of the neck. Gaze comes to the fingertips. Reminding ourselves here that you are enough, you do enough, you have enough. Setting an intention to take that into our evening to remind ourselves of that fact. You are enough, you do enough, you have enough. Maybe doing what we can to remind each other of that as well. So we'll end our practice here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining each other for this little community. I'll bow to you all. Namaste. Thank you very much, guys. I'm just going to end the recording. Thank you to anyone who joined at home.